I'm doing my video from the Stetson Bentley office, which I love so much. So I mean, look at that sign back there. Love it. Just kind of shows where I am. If you don't know me personally, you can see that I work in the OKC market. And maybe I'll even do our Tipsy Tuesday from here because we have a beautiful kitchen out there with an island and whatnot. So I think that's a great idea. I'll give you a little tour when we're finished here. But for today's home Tipsy Tuesday is for sellers and just some things to have ready when you are ready to list your house. So the first thing are the property disclosures, and your agent will give that to you ahead of time for you to fill out. And it's just important that you take your time to really fill those out completely and honestly, because you're going to have a home inspection most likely on the home anyway, so they're going to find things that might not be working or whatnot. And it's a 4-page document, and just goes over everything from like what kind of heating do you have, how old is your roof, how many layers, are you in a flood zone, your appliances that you have, are you on a well? So just simple direct questions. And it's like, working, not working, don't know, or I don't have it. The other thing is if you have a swimming pool, like an in-ground pool, know the history of when you had your pool pump, new or changed out or whatnot, your filters or anything maintenance you've done with your pool, how deep it is, because they'll want to know that. And know your utility companies and how much your average bills are for both summer and winter, because that's important for buyers to know. And another one is your HOA and how much the HOA is, and also the phone number of your HOA or email that we can get a hold of, because we're going to have to do that for closing anyway to get those fees and whatnot transferred. So that's just easier if you can get that for us ahead of time. But you have to know the amount of the HOA, and it's not, I'm not going to say it's not as big here, maybe with single family homes in Oklahoma, but some of those HOAs for condos can be so expensive, and it might knock out the buyer for qualifying for their loan. So that's why it's so important to know what that HOA is ahead of time. Another thing that is great to give your realtor when you're listing your home is what you love about the home. So I always have them write a letter or write out everything that you loved about your home so you can share that with the potential buyers. And if your home has unique things to it, then please, write those out. Let us know, because we don't know those things unless you tell us. So please, know those things, write them out. And just the lifestyle of where your house is, what do you love about the area and the events that happen, or the neighborhood, if you have neighborhood parades, that type of thing. That's so important to know, and just always good to have that written out for us. And then also, you need to know what inclusions are and what exclusions are. So we call those reserved. So every state can be different. So in Oklahoma, refrigerators, washer and dryers do not stay with the property. In Indiana, they did. So when we moved to Oklahoma, we came to a house that had a refrigerator, and we left the refrigerator in Indiana. So guess what we had to buy pretty quickly. And other things that are what we say convey with the property are anything that's attached. So mirrors, window fixtures like curtains, curtain rods, lighting. So if you have a really awesome light that you like that's attached to the ceiling and you want to take it, then you need to reserve that. And really it's better to just go ahead and change out the light before you list it so they don't even see that light. Same with window treatments. If you have great curtains or you have some specially made curtains, then take them with you. You have to note that it has to be in the reserves. And in MLS, it will ask, are there any reserves? And there's a box there that we check yes. But MLS is not a contract, so you have to have it in your contract as well. So if you want the refrigerator to stay, and let's say in the remarks on the MLS said refrigerator to stay with property, it has to be in the contract too. That overrides the MLS. And just so there's no confusion later, there has been quite a few things like that where refrigerators, washer and dryers get confused, or somebody might sell theirs, they didn't know the people wanted it or whatnot. So definitely know what you want reserved and mark it. And same with exclusions. So you might have a playground set that you loved for your kiddos, and the next people don't want that. And so they will say, please remove swing set or please remove trampoline. So that is an exclusion that they do not want. If you do want your swing set or your trampoline, then you also should just write that the trampoline does not stay. Hot tubs are a big one. So if you have a hot tub, is it staying? Write it out. If it's not staying, write it out so that there's no confusion there. And another one you might not think of is your landscaping. So any boulders or trees, planted bushes, flowers, anything like that stays with the house. So if there's anything like that that you want to, I would dig those up ahead of time, and just know that they need to stay. I've had agent reach out to me after closing. She thought that my sellers had dug up something. Thank goodness we had photos from before that showed no, this was already like this. So if you have a favorite flower or you have a tree that you planted, let's say for, a memory of someone, which happens quite a bit, and you can transfer that tree, then by all means, yeah, of course you want that tree. Just, I would do it ahead of time before you list, or I would definitely make sure it's in the contract. This tree does not stay with the property. Just, and direct, the better and less confusion things will be, because things can get confusing in these transactions, believe me. And another big item in Oklahoma, and I think probably across the country, are solar panels. A lot more people are going toward solar panels. And if you are a seller and you have those and it's leased, we need all that paperwork and documentation ready to go. So a buyer will need to come in, I believe, and have to be able to qualify for that solar panel. And sometimes they may not. There was one house I saw a couple of years ago. I think the house was only about $130,000, but the solar panels was $62,000. And so that's going to show that that buyer may not be able to buy that house and those solar panels. And there's a couple experts in the solar panel world that I may just interview, because they'll be able to explain it much better than I can. But I just know that if you have solar panels, make sure that you have all the information, your lease and whatnot from those, because those can come be an obstacle later if we don't have that ready to go from the beginning. And we don't want to be scrambling when we're trying to close on the house. So always better to have that stuff up front. I would just suggest, if you're going to get solar panels, that you know that you're probably going to stay in that house a long time. I'm here anytime for questions. You do not have to be selling or buying your home to reach out to me. I love to educate